Here is how I retouch this image, and to follow along, I'll be leaving a link where you can download this raw file in the description of this video. Right now, I want to show you the step-by-step process on how I actually retouch this image. So the first step is to remove the blemishes, and after that, we're going to be using focus separation to smoothen out the skin and follow up with color grading. And I'm going to show you some trick on how I actually made this color effect right here. So stay tuned. Now, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate my layer by pressing on Ctrl J. And after that, you can see we have a new layer right here. So after duplicating my layer, the first problem we come across is removing the blemishes. Now, there are different ways and different tools you can use to remove your blemishes from Photoshop. But if you're on a deadline and the client actually wants the image urgently, you can use the spot healing brush tool. So to use the spot healing brush tool to remove your blemishes, just come to your toolbar and click on spot healing brush tool right here. Alright, so all you have to do is just zoom in and just paint on the blemishes, and Photoshop will automatically remove the blemishes for you. So you can use this method to remove your blemishes if you are on a deadline. This method is simple, it's fast, and it's effective as well. But I really don't use this method, and I'm going to show you the method I use in a bit. Alright, so you can see we've removed the blemishes from this image. So let me just quickly show you the before and after of what we just did. So this is the before. Just take a look at the blemishes right here. The before and the after, they are no longer there. So look at the face, the before and the after. So this is one way you can actually remove your blemishes. But the way I remove my blemishes from my image, I use the focus separation method. So all I have to do is come to my action. And by the way, I'm giving out all my actions for free. I believe in the link where you can get those actions in the description below. Alright, so I'll come to my focus separation 16-bit because this image is 16-bit. If you want to know if your image is 16-bit or 8-bit, just look at this place right here, or come to your image, click on mode, and you can see if your image is 8-bit or 16-bit. Okay, now I'm going to run my focus separation. So I click on Teelens focus separation 16-bit because this image is 16-bit, like this. And for this headshot, I'm going to be using a radius of 10 to retouch this image. So I'll click on 10 and click on OK. And by the way, for the Gaussian blur radius, if you want your image to be smooth, use a lower blur radius. If you want to keep textures on your image, use a high blur radius. So once I read that action, you can see right here we have the low frequency, which consists of the colors. We have the brush layer, I'm going to be explaining it later in this video. And we have the high frequency, which contains the textures. Now, since the blemishes for the image is textures, I'm just going to make sure my texture layer is selected, which is this first layer right here, which is this high frequency copy right here. And also, it's the same thing if you're using the Retouching Academy focus separation. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in. Once I zoom in and see the blemishes I want to remove, I'll pick my close stamp tool. Once I pick my close stamp tool, make sure my mode is set to normal, opacity is set to 100, my flow is set to 100, align is selected, and current layer is selected. And all I have to do is just press alternate and sample from a close by area and just paint it over the blemishes. So sample and paint over the blemishes like that. So if I zoom in, you can see the before and the after. That blemishes is no longer there. And also, if you want to remove your blemishes, make sure you are increasing and decreasing your brush size according to the blemishes you want to remove, so that you don't leave any patches on the place which you remove the blemishes from. And to increase or decrease your brush size, just use the square bracket key on your keyboard to increase and decrease your brush size. So like I said, the first problem we have is to remove the blemishes, and this is the solution to that. This is how you can actually remove blemishes from an image. Now let me just quickly remove the blemishes. Okay, we've finished removing the blemishes from this image. So let me show you before and after. So this is the before and the after. Let me just zoom in so you can see the before and the after. Look at the hairs and the eyes. I also removed those. So the before and the after. Alright, so the key right here is to make sure you actually take your time when removing your blemishes. It's very, very important. And another tip I'm going to share with you is that if you remove your blemishes, make sure you are zooming in and zooming out so that you can actually see the image from this type of view, and also see the image from this type of view so you know what you are doing. Alright, now after I finish removing the blemishes, the next problem we have right here is if you look at the skin, you can see they are not smooth. The skin is looking rough, and there are two ways you can actually fix this problem. One, you can either use micro dodge and burn, or you can use frequency separation with the mixer brush tool to actually smoothen out the skin. Now, if you use micro dodge and burn, you are going to spend a lot of time actually retouching this image. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be using frequency separation to retouch this image right here. After I finish removing my blemishes, I'm just going to come to my brush shear layer, which is this layer right here. And with my brush shear layer selected, I'm going to pick my mixer brush tool right here. And for my mixer brush settings, my clean brush after each stroke is selected. My wet is on 30. My load is on 20. This mix right here doesn't really matter because this place right here is on transparent, so it can be any number. And my flow right here is on 20 and sample all layer is selected. Now the reason why sample all layer is selected is because we are working on this empty layer, which is this brush layer. Now if I was to be working on the low frequency layer directly, I will uncheck this one and just brush on this layer directly. But since I'm going to be brushing on an empty layer, I'm going to make sure sample all layer is checked. Alright, after I get my settings right, I'm going to come back to my layers right here and turn off this high texture layer right here by clicking on this eye icon and turn it off, and make sure my brush layer is selected, which is the layer I'm going to be working on. Then I'm just going to zoom in, and once I zoom in, I'm going to be brushing my shadow separately, my highlight separately. Let me just show you that. Okay, so you see this highlight right here on the face. I'm going to be brushing this highlight separately, while I'm going to be brushing these shadows right here separately as well. Also for the midtones, let me just use another color for the midtones. Also for the midtones right here, I'm going to be brushing it separately. And for this transition between the highlight and the shadow, I'm just going to use a bigger brush and just brush on the transition like so, for the transition with a bigger brush stroke for the transition. Okay, so that's how I brush. I'll brush highlight separately, brush shadow separately, and the midtone separately. And also I'm brushing according to the shape of the face of the subject or the model. So if I was to brush this image, so for this place right here, I'm going to be brushing like this towards this direction like this. And also for the cheek right here, which is very popular, I'm going to be brushing to this direction like this for the cheek. And also for this highlight right here, I'm going to be brushing to this direction like so for the highlight right here. And also for this other side, I'm going to be brushing like this and like this. So just brush, and with time you're going to get used to it. I'm just going to delete this layer and start brushing right now. So I'll pick my mixer brush tool, hide this my high texture layer right here, turn it off, and make sure my brush layer is selected, and just decrease my brush size and just paint on these highlights right here, just like this, to smoothen out those particular highlights right there. And also I'll do the same thing right here for this midtones area like so. And also for the transition, I'm going to increase my brush size a little bit and just paint on the transition like so, just to smoothen out that particular place out. And also I'll decrease my brush size and paint on this place right here. Okay, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the whole of the image. And also, if you feel you make any mistake, since you are working on an empty layer, you can just pick your eraser tool and just erase it instead of deleting the whole frequency separation and starting all over again. So that's one advantage of using my action, or one advantage of using the Retouching Academy action. If you make any mistake, you can just delete it and start from that place you want instead of deleting the whole frequency separation. Alright, so I'm going to continue brushing. So let me just quickly brush on this part so you can see the before and after. Alright, and like I said earlier, the Gaussian blur radius you use actually plays a big role on how smooth your image look. So if you want your image to be smooth, use a lower blur radius. If you want to retain texture or keep more texture on your image, use a high Gaussian blur or Gaussian blur radius. Okay, now let me quickly show you the before and after of what we just did so you can see. So this is the before and the after. The before and the after, you can see is looking so much better, and we still have the textures. So the before and the after. Now another tip I'm going to share with you right here is always increase and decrease your brush size according to the place you're actually working on. Now if you want to work on this small highlight on the nose, I'm not going to decrease my brush size to fit that highlight right there and just work on only that highlight on the nose right there. I'm not going to be using a big brush to paint on that small highlight. I'm going to reduce my brush size to fit that highlight right there. Okay, so I'm just going to paint on this highlight right here and do the same thing for the whole of the image. Okay, we're done. Let me show you the before and after. So this is the before and the after. The before and the after. So I feel this place is looking a little bit too dark, so I'm not going to brush on that place a little bit. So I'm going to paint on it like this, just to make that place even blend even more. Okay, now these are overall focus separation before and after. The before and the after. You can see the image is looking so much better right now. The before and the after. Oh wow, nice. The image is looking really good, but there's a problem. You can see the colors right there are totally different from the whole image. Now let me show you how you can actually match colors inside of Photoshop. Alright, so let's just delete this. Now let's even out the colors of this image. Now to do that, I'll come to my action again and I'll click on color correction right here. Once I click on my color correction action, it's just going to load the action. Now next thing I'm going to do, just click on this gradient right here. Once you click on gradient, come to your windows and look for properties. Where is my properties? Right here. Okay, properties right here, and click on it. I'm just going to open that gradient property. Now just click on the gradient. Once you click on the gradient, you can see right here below the gradient we have 3 boxes. Now this first box right here is for our shadow, while this one right here is for the midtones, while this one right here is for the highlights. So I'm going to click on the shadow area and just sample any color from the shadow or the image. So I'm going to sample this color right here as the shadow. Also click on the midtones. So I'm going to sample this color right here on the forehead as the midtones. And also click on the highlights and just sample this place right here on the cheek as the highlights right here. Alright. Or this place right here on the nose as the highlights. Okay. Now you can see we have our shadow color, our midtones color, and our highlights color. Now next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to click on OK and just close these properties. Now pick your normal brush tool. Make sure your layer mask is selected right now. Once the layer mask is selected, come to your brush settings. Make sure you're using a soft round brush. Okay. Once the soft round brush is selected, just make sure your foreground color is set to white because the mask is on black. So just increase your brush size and just brush on the image like so. Just brush on the colors. Just brush the colors on the image like that to fix the colors. Yeah, it's not looking good right now. That's another problem. But I want to show you how you can actually make it look even more better. Okay. Now I'm not going to brush on the face because we sample the colors from the face. So the face is looking okay. So I'm not going to brush on the face. But you can brush on the face if you want to. I think I'm just going to brush on the face. So I'm going to brush on the face. So anywhere you see skin on the image, just brush on it. But don't brush on the eyes. Don't brush on the hair. Don't brush on the lips. Just brush on only the face like so. Only the skin rather. Okay. It's looking good like this. Now next I'm going to do, I'll come back to my properties again. So just come back to your windows and click on properties right here. And just feather it. Come to your feather and just feather it. Now the reason why I feather it, I want it to spread and also I want the edges to be smooth. That's why I feathered it. So like this works for me. I'm going to close the properties. Now next I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my blend mode right here. Change it from normal to color. Like I see the colors are matching right now, but it's too intense. Now all you have to do is just come to your opacity and just decrease the opacity a little bit until you feel it's okay. So I think 20 works for me. I'm going to leave it at 20. 20 works for me. Now this is the before and this is the after. The before and the after. Now the colors are looking so much better right now. I feel the colors are harmonized right now. Alright. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to work on the eyes. So I'm going to make the eyes a little bit brighter. So I'm going to come to my action again and just click on eyes and teeth whitening right here. I'm going to click on it and just zoom in. Once I zoom in, I'm going to paint on the eyes. So you're just going to load the action. For you have to do is pick your normal brush tool and just paint white on the eyes like this. Make sure your foreground color is set to white and just paint on the eyes like this. And if you want to avoid like this, all you have to do is switch to your black brush by pressing X on your keyboard and just erase it. Alright, so I'll do the same thing for this other eyes right here. Just going to paint on only the white part of the eyes. Okay, it's looking so much better right now. So this is the before and the after. I'll come back to my properties. I'll just feather it a little bit like so and just close it and just reduce the opacity even more like this to make it look more natural. Now next I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my adjustment layer. I'll click on my curves adjustment layer and I'll click on preset right here under this default. I'm going to click on this default and just choose lighter RGB like so. So once I click on lighter RGB, I'm not going to invert this layer mask by pressing on Ctrl I and just invert the layer mask. And I'm not going to zoom in only on this catch light of the eyes. I'm going to paint that effect only on the catch light on the eyes. So I'm going to paint it like this on the catch lights. Also do the same thing for this other catch lights right here. Now, see the before. You can see how dull the catch light is, and see the after. The before and the after. Looking so much better right now. So I'm not going to go over everything I did for the eyes and show you the before and after. The before and the after. Wow. The before and the after. Looking really, really amazing. Now, next I'm going to do for this image, I'm going to be doing global dodge and burn for this image to add depth to the image. Now, to do my global dodge and burn, I'm going to come to my actions again and just click on dodge and burn right here. And like I said, if you want this action for free, I'll be leaving the link where you can download it in the description below. I'm just going to open up the layer right here and just come to my dodge. And for my dodge, make sure my opacity set to 100, flow set to 100. And I'm just going to draw a line on the highlight part of the image like so. Just like this for the highlights part of the image. I'll do the same thing for the lips because I want the lips to look a little bit brighter. Alright, now I'll come to my burn. I'll do the same thing for the shadow part of the image, just like so. Okay, I'll do the same thing under the neck, also beside the nose, like this. Okay, I think like this works. Now this time I'm going to do, I'll come to my windows, I'll come to my properties right here. I'm just going to feather it with the layer mask selected. I'm just going to feather it like this. Okay, like this works for me. Then I'll do the same thing for the dodge. I'll come to the dodge, come to my properties. Now I already have my properties right here. I'm going to click on properties and just feather it like so until I feel it's okay. So like this works for me. Now see the before and the after. The before and the after. Now I feel the shadow is too much, so I'm going to come to my opacity for the burn and just reduce the opacity a little more like so. So like this works for me. So the before and the after, the before and the after. So that's how you do your global dodge and burn. Now let's add more textures to this image and make it pop even more. Now to do that, I'm going to create a stamp visible layer by pressing Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Once I create a stamp visible layer, I'm going to zoom in, come back to my actions again, and just scroll the way down and click on Unsharpen Eyes and Lip Mask right here. Once I click on that, it's just going to load the action. Don't worry about what is the action, just know how you use it. So once that action load, all you have to do is pick your normal brush tool, make sure your opacity is set to 100, flow set to 100, and just zoom in. And for this one, just paint only on the eyes like this. Wow. And also do the same thing for the lips like so. Wow. And also do the same thing for the nose right here, so just to make the image pop. So if I just show the fan after, you can see the effect. So this is the before and the after. Let's take a look at the eyes. The before and the after. You can see it has added that punch to the image. Alright, just try it, you're going to like it. Now this time I'm going to create another stamp visible layer by pressing Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Now this time I'll come back to my action and click on Unsharpen Face Mask right here. Once I click on it, I'm just going to paint only on the face. And this time it's just going to boost the textures on the face. So just increase your brush size and just paint only on the face, like that, to boost the textures on the face. Okay, don't paint on the body, just paint on only the face like that. Now you can see it's too much. This is the before and this is the after. It made the image a little bit more sharper and added that boost, but I feel it's looking too much. The before and the after. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reduce the opacity to about 40%. 40 works for me. Okay, the before and the after. It's looking amazing. Now I want to color grade this image and add and before I do that, I want to add contrast to this image. So to add contrast to this image, I'm going to come to my action again. If you notice, I've used my action to retouch this image from the beginning to the end, so you really have to get my action. It's going to help you a lot. It's for free, by the way. Now to add contrast to this image, once I open up my action, I'm going to click on this rich tone right here. Once I click on this rich tone, it's just going to add that dark field contrast to the image. So right now I feel it's looking too much. It looks like Metro too much. Okay, now since it's looking too much, I'm just going to reduce the opacity to about 15%, let's see. Okay, 16 works for me. Now see the before and the after. The before and the after. Now to color grade this image, I'm just going to use my LUT, which I'm still going to be giving out for free. So I'm going to click on my adjustment layer right here. Once I click on my adjustment layer, I'm going to click on load 3D LUT. and just click on load LUTs and just look for my LUTs. So this is the LUTs right here. Teelens Dark Skin Melanin. I'm going to click on it. I'm just going to load that LUT for this image. But right now, I feel it's looking too dark. So all you can do is just reduce the opacity even more till you feel it's okay. Alright. So like this works for me. So let me just group everything so you can see the before and the after. The before and the after. Now let me show you how I created this effect right here. So the first thing you have to do is create a stamp visible layer by pressing on Ctrl Shift Alternate E. Once you create a stamp visible layer, just duplicate the layer again by pressing on Ctrl J. So you can see we have two layers right here. Now come to the layer below, just right click and click on blending option right here. Once the layer style option open, just come to your channels right here and just uncheck this red right here. Once you uncheck the red, it means you've removed the reds from this layer below. Now the next thing I'm going to do, come to the layer above, right click, come to blending option. Once the layer style box open, this time instead of removing the red, just remove the green and the blues and leave only the reds and click on OK. Now here is where the magic actually happens. Next thing you have to do is come to your move tool, just select your move tool. Once you select your move tool, just press your Ctrl T to bring the transform tool. Once the transform tool shows, just right click and just flip it horizontally like this. That's all you have to do. And from here, you can choose to upscale it like this. So this is how I upscale this image. So I just upscale it like this and click on OK like so. So that's how I actually got this effect right here. And let me just show you everything I did for the scale retouching, the before and the after. So this is the before we started from, and this is the after. The before and the after. And from here, you can actually fix the hair if you want to. And I have a video explaining how I actually fix hair. Click here to watch that video. I'll see you guys in my next one. Stay creative.